Hi, this is Alessandro Bertoni, and this is the Sledge 2.0 by Studiologic, the Black Edition. It's gorgeous and sounds great, so let's build a sound and play with it. So today I want to build a lead synth sound that could have the same power of expression and aggression of a lead guitar sound. So the layout of the Sledge is gorgeous, it's really old school, I love it. And of course the starting point are the three oscillators, 1, 2 and 3, with the relative volumes, 1, 2 and 3. So let's turn on the first oscillator, on here. Okay, the preset gives me a sawtooth wave, but I'm going to change it into a sound wave taken from the wavetable, which is a specific feature of the Sledge. And I'm gonna use this number 36 saw sync wave, a little bit 80s. Let's modulate the pulse width of the sound wave with a knob. Let's keep it pretty close, pretty dark, around 25. I can also choose the octave here, and I'm gonna drop it down one octave, so to 16. Alright, second oscillator, this guy, let's isolate it. Another sawtooth wave that I'm gonna change into this square wave. Okay, pretty basic. I'm gonna choose the octave. Here is too trebly, I want it darker. I can also detune this sound wave in relation to the first oscillator sound wave. And I'm gonna detune it by a -6. And let's hear how they sound together. Here I can adjust the volume of the single oscillators, around 90 for the first sound wave and around 75 for the second. Alright, now let's take a look at the third oscillator, this guy. And here I want to choose this square wave with a variable pulse width that I'm going to modulate again. Around 20. I'm going to detune this one as well. -8. And let's hear how they sound together. Let's adjust the volume. Let's turn down this one in order not to make it too trebly. The second step is to take care of the low frequency oscillators. On the Sledge I have 2 LFOs here and here, and also have a modulation wheel, of course. So I'm going to assign, as for the first LFO, a sine wave and send it to all 3 the oscillators, 1, 2 and 3. The speed of the sound wave is going to be around 50, and the depth is going to be about 15. So here I basically have a sine wave controlling the pitch on all 3 the oscillators. I don't need a second LFO here, so I'm gonna make sure all the values are at 0 for the second LFO, here and here in the middle. But I absolutely want the modulation wheel to control the vibrato. The vibrato on the Sledge is really beautiful and can be controlled with the wheel or just with the aftertouch. So I'm going to assign a sine wave with a value of about 50 for the speed and about 18-20 for the depth. I'm gonna assign it to all three oscillators, of course. And here we go. So I have one LFO assigned to all three oscillators to modulate their pitch, and I have the modulation wheel or the aftertouch to control the vibrato. The next step, but this is just a very personal choice, is to implement the overdrive and the flanger before going to mess with the filter. This is because I found that the overdrive, the distortion, and the modulation effect impact the sound a lot. So I want to have a big picture of how the sound is with the effects before going to mess with the filter. So let's turn on the overdrive. Not too crazy, about 50 or 60. And then the flanger. So the flanger on the Sledge is pretty aggressive. So of a rate 40 and a depth 25-30. Here I have already the guitar feel. So now it's time for the filter. Here I have the type of filter. I have low pass, high pass, band pass. Here I have the slope, 24 or 12 dB. I have the cutoff, or the resonance, the key track. Here I have the filter envelope and the envelope for the amplifier as well. So as for the filter, I'm going to select a low pass, of course. I want it to be a 12 dB, so not too much cutting off. And I'm going to set the filter around 1.5K, so it's pretty open. No resonance at all here. The key track, an average value for this kind of sound around 70, so I can have a good response from the filter throughout the whole frequency spectrum, but I'm still going to have the high frequencies pretty present, but not sounding like a video game. Then the filter envelope, I want the sound from the filter to start right away, so it's going to be a fast attack and a pretty medium long decay, medium long sustain, and pretty medium long release as well. The amount for the filter is really aggressive. It's very dramatic. I want the filter to be present, so it's going to be a value of plus 18, plus 20. And this is the filter. The envelope for the amplifier, I want a pretty attacky sound, so a value between 0 and 10. I want a long decay, 110. I want a lot of sustain. It's a lead sound, so it has to be really present. And 120. And I am going to select like a release of about 60, because I'm going to add a delay later, and I don't want the sound from the release and delay to overlap. Velocity of the keyboard is pretty short, so between 15 and 20. And this is all for the filter. Now it's time for the ambience effect. I have delay and reverb, and I want both of them, of course. So I'm going to start with the delay. I want a tape kind of delay, so time of about 25 and a level medium high of about 70. And finally, the reverb. I want the sound to be very wet, very expressive. So the reverb time is going to be around 55, and the level of about 85. Maybe a little less. And that's it. Now let's shred.